Testing 1 2 3 testing. So we are currently awaiting, I think, another driver, and we can ready up in a minute. Let's just check. So currently checking. So I think we have Matty who needs to join in. So let me invite him again. I believe for the rest everybody has joined in. Yes, everybody has joined in, and you may ready up, guys. You may ready up. If you're hearing me, you may ready up. Yeah, sure. I will mute the mic, so I will be streaming. I will send the stream very shortly, so I will be muting my mic. So welcome in the Delta Pace Racing Division 3 pre-season race in the USA. So basically this is a pre-season race. It's only one pre-season race in this track in the USA. Basically we have just started another season, I believe season 4. And we are of course in the last preparation stages of the season. We are trying to compile as much drivers as possible in the meantime. However, this is the pre-season race, the race that literally paves the way to the drivers for the coming season. And we can also say that there will be an 11 race season, one of which has been selected by the admins. This pre-season race has been selected by the admins as well. And the last race was also selected by admins, which will be in China. However, the remainder of the 10 races were selected by the community, and that includes a selection of tracks, including the following, which are Austria, which is going to be the first race, and then it will be followed by Azerbaijan, Saudi Arabia, San Marino, Belgium, Brazil, France, Russia, Bahrain, Great Britain, and of course this is the last race, which is selected by the admins in China. One may also note that there will be a double points race which has to be selected by the driver, and that will be his with an inverted commas the joker selection of the driver, where in a particular race, wherever he finishes, whether in the points or no, not in the points, he will get double the points he earns. So if he selects the double points joker and gets P1, essentially he gets double the points. That would be a 50 points. However, if he gets P11, he will get 0 points multiplied by 2, which remains with 0. So that will be the that will be all when it comes to the logistics of the Delta Pace. Whoever is watching and is not within this group of the Delta Pace, I encourage you to follow the stream. You leave a comment, and we will send out the Discord channel where the community is all there to interact and aiming and intending to have nice clean races across all divisions. We have divisions based on pace. Basically what we do is that we assign you to do 3 particular short qualifyings in an equal performing car, which are Portugal, Imola and Brazil, and depending on your pace of those 3 qualifyings, you will be assigned to the correct division. So there will be no extra fast drivers and no extra slow drivers. When it comes to the extra slow drivers, they will be placed in this division. The fastest guys will be assigned in the elite division, and of course the ones in between will be placed accordingly either in division 1 or division 2. So that's basically it when it comes to the basic logistics of this season, and let's get started with this division 3 pre-season race. So we are currently on board with Kila Fila. Kila Fila has done currently turns 1 and 2. Now there's the sequence of the USA Maggots and Beckett's kind of. However, it seems that he has lost a little bit the apex, although not invalidated the lap. This is one of the corners that I really like. I mean, it would be so easy to invalidate, but at the same time so hard to complete in terms of the turns. However, it brings so much satisfaction. Now he has just gone off the hairpin, getting on the DRS on the long straight, going up to 195, 96 miles an hour and on average. Braking on that braking point, trying to get in as much as possible from the curb, getting the maximum out of the corners with the traction, getting to another hairpin which is very slippery. In fact, he has gone a little bit off the track. However, he has not invalidated the lap yet. Going into the sequence of right-handers, and now a tight left-hander going a little bit off track. Not invalidating the lap because he has gone a little bit slow to compensate for that loss. Turning on the DRS, finishing the lap with a 133.386, which is currently on pole position. So another thing that we need to add when it comes to the Delta Pace Racing for this season, the admins has discussed and has basically came to a decision that for this season onwards, the traction control will no longer be included as part of the assist, including the braking assist as well and steering assist. The only assist that the Delta Pace Racing will be allowing will be ABS, gearbox, which drivers can go to automatic if they wish, and the racing line, which can be selected either full or corners only or no line at all. So those three will be the only assists allowable for this league. Unfortunately, when it comes to the traction, guys with the medium traction, medium braking application are tending to be very fast at the expense of the drivers who are really trying to push for a no assist division, a no assist community. And of course there were errors being made by drivers, misjudgments, and a lot of incidents. And we have last season we have learned a lot that these were coming mainly from drivers who were greatly misjudging their braking point and their exit points and their aggressiveness, essentially, which of course has led us to the decision to remove the traction, the braking and the steering assists. Until now it has proved to be a good measure. Of course, with some drivers are still learning the no TC procedure, it's not so easy, but at the same time it's so satisfying when it's done correctly. And the number of incidents has decreased substantially, mainly because drivers are being more cautious when they are trying to make an overtake. Of course, as I have said, the drivers may be spinning a little bit more, but by time they will learn, and the satisfaction derived out of the no traction control will be so much great. Alright, so currently on board with Kieran Barr. He's currently doing the lap. It shows that he has done a purple second sector, trying to get his maximum out of the right-handers at the right left-hander, turn 19, going into turn 20, the left-hander, going back into gear 2, trying to get out of the most of it, finishing the lap with a 1:35.871, which currently puts him on P5 out of 11 drivers. So currently on board with F1 Immortal, he's currently improving on his second sector, and he has just spun out. I believe it's the commentator's curse, so my apologies, F1 Immortal. Alright, so I think I have information that the race will be under rainy conditions. Alright, so I'm currently also following F1 Immortal, who is really revving so much the car, and that would bring up the temperatures. So PJ is currently finishing those sequence of corners. Alright, I'm receiving a lot of personal messages. Guys, please avoid personal messages. I would need to concentrate on the commentating, please. Thank you. Alright, so currently on board with Mosherted 70. My apologies, Mosher. when it comes to pronouncing your name. Currently following him into the sector 2. Not sure whether he's on his in lap or otherwise. I'm checking the times. And he seems that he is improving from his time only by just 0.04 seconds. And he's currently in P5 on that Alfa Romeo car. So currently on board with Noxer on the Ferrari. It seems that he has invalidated the lap. Same for Kila Fila, but let's see how Dirt Assassin will fare during the lap. Alright, so Dart Assassin has just put a 134.397. The fastest guy at the moment is Kila Fila with a 133.786, which is a very good time for Division 3. I believe that for the Elite Division, the best time done was a 130.5, somewhere in the whereabouts, which is a very fast time as well. For Division 1 was in the very, very low 131s, if not mistaken. And for the Division 2 it was a 132 something. So as you may see, the gaps between the Elite Division and Division 3 is constantly going down by 1 second, which is something that of course has been done in view of the qualifying times that has been posted by these drivers to the admins. And of course the admins has put them in the most suitable division as they have saw it, and we can hope that the pace remains to be spread out this way for all divisions. In the meantime, Dart Assassin has just put a purple second sector. He has gone through turns 15, 16, 17 and 18 with ease. Turn 19 and 20 right now, going out with P4, and he has improved significantly, which has put him into P1 with a 133.327. This was very surprising. And Suma as well with a 133.397, so there's only a 60 hundredths of a second difference. My apologies if I haven't put the tires yet, which is now outside in the board as well. So we're noting that Dart Assassin has just put 2 laps on the soft tires. When it comes to the tires, I'm hearing that it will be a rain race. I'm not too sure, but this is what I have heard. I'm not 100% sure. However, if it's a dry race, based on the experience that I had in the Elite and the Division 1 races, it should be a one-stop strategy between soft to mediums. The softs last 10 laps, more or less. They won't last more for sure, otherwise they will lose a lot of time and traction. The medium tires can last up to 20 laps if really treated nice, or 18 laps if you're going for the remainder of the race. So one-stop strategy would be the most ideal strategy. However, given that there might be safety cars, more than one-stop strategy could be in place. Fila is currently out on track as well. Also, Moshertid is doing his fast lap, and same for F1 Immortal. So let's see Moshertid finishing that second sector, and he's improving by 0.3 of a second, which then puts him, still keeps him in P5 at the moment. So Fila finishing sector 1, he has not improved, he has just matched his time though, so we will see how he will fare in this sector 2, on this long back straight. And he has improved by 0.4 of a second, and that could potentially put him into P1. Let's see, he's going out of that hairpin, going into the sequence of right-handers, full throttle. So easy to get the car lost there, but he keeps it. Going into turn 18, going slightly off track, but he didn't invalidate the lap yet because he has compromised his speed to make it within the lap. And he has improved by almost 1 second, and that puts him into P1 with a 1:30.914. That is quite top Division 3 level. I wasn't expecting anything lower than 1:33. So well done to Fila. Seems that CDM has already crashed out as well. And we already see the qualifying finished, the 18-minute qualifying. So I'm getting notifications that it will be raining the whole race. It will be raining almost the whole race. So this is some news. This will be very interesting to see. So we have Fila in P1, the Art Assassin in P2, Sume in P3. Let's see how this will fare in the race, in the rainy race. So hello Ben Hassi, apologies I haven't seen the comments, now I'm seeing the comments. Oh, okay, he thought it was on dry. My apologies Ben Hassi. It will be a rainy race, so one needs to really mind the throttle. Just don't slam the throttle on gears 1, 2, 3 or gear 4 in certain corners. Be very gentle with the throttle, and you will do fine. Okay, so People are making the last preparations for this race. And we have the formation lap, which is starting now, with Kila Fila on pole, Dart Assassin in P2, Suma in P3, Noxer in P4, the legend Noxer. I think Noxer has been here in the Delta Pace Racing since it began, so for us he's a legend. So a special shout out to Noxer. Mosherted in P5, F1 Immortal in P6, TSM Elite in P7, Kieran Barr in P8, also a long time loyal guy, so a special shout out to Kieran Barr. PJ in P9, CDM JW in P10. Of course, CDM JW is most renowned for being very fast driver. However, I was informed that he has recently changed his wheel. He's now driving in a wheel, and he wasn't used to the no traction control, so this could be a new experience for him as well, to learn driving a wheel rather than a controller and under no traction control conditions. And P11 with Menno F1, as we are seeing the guys finishing the lap, the formation lap. And we have a spin, which is not Menno but CDMJW. Alright, so now I'm seeing a Ben Hesse, so you should be TSM Elite. You should be TSM Elite. Nice. Alright. So TSM Elite, what I would suggest is to focus on the car. Just focus on the car, and we can all hope for a good race. Don't push it too much, just be gentle with the throttle. Don't make over-ambitious overtake, and you should be fine. Alright, so the cars are setting in the grid. Slowly getting those temperatures up. Alright, and we have 5 lights. And away we go. Everybody trying to tiptoeing on the throttle, trying their best to do their overtakes, and we can see that Kila Fila has successfully gone into turn 1 without having any problems, but Dart Assassin is side by side. And we already have a spinner, if I have seen correctly, but Kila Fila keeps the position into P1. We have already 2 spinners. Essentially, Mosherdit and Menno. Mosherdit has already retired from the session, and Menno as well. And of course we have a virtual safety car, potentially into a safety car. So as the virtual safety car is still on its way, we are ready with 9 drivers remaining, but it doesn't matter as long as these guys can practice on conditions without traction control. And of course this has been like a crash course, because there's also rainy conditions, so this will be the ultimate crash course for these guys to get this traction control issue sorted, and they will have a full hour of of pain, if we must say that, but yep, it should be the best way to learn for this sim game. Alright, so we are noting that Kila Fila has already received a drive-through penalty for which he is serving in the pits right now. He has not kept up with the delta, unfortunately. So Dartes Sezen has taken the lead, but Sume is making that attack on Noxer into P2, and Noxer trying to get the switchback, but it's not enough under the rainy conditions. So Sume in P2 following Dartes Sezen currently in P1. So the biggest gainer here right now is CDMJW with 5 places gained, and there's also TSM Elite with 3 places gained, and we have seen Dartes Sezen losing a little bit the car but still keeping it on track. So well done to Dartes Sezen as well. The biggest loser currently is the Kila Fila with 8 places lost. Of course he had to serve the drive-through penalty. So let's see, Sume in P1, Dartes Sezen following in P2, TSM Elite making it in P3, side by side with Noxer, getting onto the inside and successfully making the overtake, with Noxer not giving up just yet. And Noxer making that switchback work, and CDMJW trying to take the full advantage out of the error made by TSM Elite. A slight tap with CDMJW, and CDMJW loses the car. We have a double yellow in sector 3. CDMJW trying to get some traction. Of course the car will be sizzling hot with the spin, so he will need to drive very, very slowly to get the temperatures down for the moment. And we have Kieran Barr who needs to pit, probably has lost a wing. Yep, he will be changing the wing. And CDMJW also getting the first 3-second time penalty. And also Noxer getting the 3-second time penalty. However, he is in P3. Alright, so I'm not noticing what's happening exactly, but Noxer has just ceded the place to see TSM Elite. Probably has just overtaken him by exceeding the track limits, and that would be fair play to him if it's the case. Kila Fila already has made up half of the places lost. He has gone up to P5. And PJ making the overtake of against F1 Immortal, being the second highest driver to overtake a lot of drivers apart from TSM Elite, with 3 drivers overtaken. Oh, and PJ almost loses the car. CDMJW still struggling a little bit with the traction, but the temperatures are slowly gaining. And there are 2 drivers who are entering the pits already. Probably they had contact, Noxer and Dartes Sezen. I believe I'm missing a little bit of the action. So Dartes Sezen definitely changing the wing, and Noxer also changing the wing. So probably they had contact or either spun out into the wall. And CDMJW slowly going up, back in P6, being one of the highest overtaking driver. With Sume slowly going away, with TSM Elite flowing slowly as well. Kila Fila has just reached TSM Elite as well. PJ in P4 being the highest driver to overtake along with TSM Elite. And then there's F1 Immortal and CDMJW slowly getting back to his pace. Dart Assassin in P7, Moxer in P8 and Kieran Barr in P9. So, Fila making the overtake out of TSM Elite. Fila were on pace, he has been the fastest in the quali, so it's expected that Fila may have not done too much effort to make the overtake over TSM Elite. I know the guy and he's trying his best not to lose the car, and that's strictly a commentator's curse, unfortunately, and he will have to pit for a new wing. And a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. One needs to note that the speed limit is 49 miles per hour, so one needs to really take care of that before entering the pits. Okay, TSM Elite, I've seen the comment. Well, you will need to slow down the car before entering the pits to a sufficient speed, which is 49 miles an hour. You were way above that, so that's why the 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I'm noting CDM has just gone back into P8, so probably has spun out as well. I'm missing a lot of the action. And CDM has spun out again, this time getting wing damage. Probably the tires are sizzling hot, and he's trying to reduce the speed as much as possible to reduce the temperatures of those tires. And Fila has gone up back into P2, PJ being the highest overtaking driver into P3, safely into P3 with F1 Immortal following him with almost 4 seconds apart from PJ. In P4, Dart Assassin follows in P5 with 5 seconds to spare from F1 Immortal, followed by Noxer in P6 and TSM Elite in P7, both of these drivers having time penalties to spare. I am assuming that TSM Elite has 6 seconds time penalty, if not mistaken. No, 5 seconds time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Noxer having 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits way too much. Of course, there's Kieran Barr, who is just behind TSM Elite in P8 and CDMJW in P9. So Sume is almost lapping CDMJW, currently commanding that P1, making no errors whatsoever. And he also has a time penalty, a 3-second time penalty. So basically Sume, Kile File, Noxer, CDMJW all have exceeding track limit time penalties. Subsequently, with CDMJW having 6 seconds, for the rest having 3 seconds, and TSM Elite having 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We can also note that the drivers who are from P5 downwards have already made one stop, basically for spinning out and having wing damage, I would presume. For the rest, F1 Immortal, PJ, Kile File have not stopped yet, with Kile File already serving his drive-through, but yet in P2, with Sume being in P1. So Dart Assassin has made the overtake over F1 Immortal. Noxer is trying to follow the guys as well. I think one of the positive things that can be mentioned is that there was no safety car. There was a virtual safety car, which is to an extent good news. Also on board with Kieran Barr, who's having a very quiet race, but trying to minimize the damage as much as possible. Ooh, TSM Elite losing a little bit the car and holding it. The Tokyo Drift driver going through this sequence of corners, which is very, very tricky under these rainy conditions. And we are noticing Noxer making the overtake over F1 Immortal. Noxer making the overtake so easy, despite stopping once for tire changes. F1 Immortal almost losing the car. This is how much the throttle is important. How much the throttle application, the importance of it. Until the initial of gear 5, it's so, and CDMJW has DNF, causing a full safety car. So it's more of a relief for the drivers who were at the back, more of a relief for drivers who were almost giving up the race, because Sume has been leading the race, bossing the race almost throughout. So now drivers are taking the full opportunity to have that not mandatory pit stop for new tires, new wet tires, unless the race gets drier. We have no idea, but from the information we had, there was gonna be a long rainy race, almost for the whole duration of the race, so we will need to wait and see. Unlucky for CDM, this was his first experience, I believe, under no traction control and with the wheel. However, it's never a failure, it's always a lesson. So hopefully he can only improve from this race. So we're noticing Dart Assassin has made the second stop already. However, PJ, Kile File have not pitted yet, but Sume is pitting, definitely pitting. He has a 30-second advantage, so it's only fair for him to make that stop. So we have Fila managing the delta, and of course he's pitting because he has an 18-second time gap to PJ, which should be more than sufficient to keep his place, probably, unless PJ decides to pit, which he didn't. So let's see whether PJ makes the overtake or not. Fila is coming out of the pits, and Fila keeps the place, just keeps the place, as I predicted. So for Fila, this has been an important thing, that he only has Suma to take care of. However, Fila getting that 3-second time penalty yet again, and now has 6-second time penalties to take care of. So he will need to surpass Suma and gain from him by 3 seconds. We are also noticing Suma has the 3-second time penalty, as well as Noxer. We are also noticing that F1 Immortal has DNF, and probably has DNF in the pits, which is not the right way. So F1 Immortal, if you're watching the stream, DNFing in the pits, retiring in the pits, is not the way to retire in this league. Unfortunately, the only correct way to retire is to go into a safe place out of the track, a very safe place out of the track without compromising any driver. Stop the car there and wait until you get disqualified. This is the only way to quit the game. You cannot pause and quit the game. You cannot just press retire and leave the car on AI. There is nothing of the sort, because huge penalties will be provided in that regard. We do not accept that kind of behavior. So for next time, F1 Immortal, please, if you intend to retire the car, find a very safe space outside the track, go there, stop the car, and wait until you get disqualified. The game will disqualify you if you stand on the same place for too much time. So everybody's following the safety car, and something that we need to note is that whoever is within the safety car, unless the safety car is going in this lap, which is not at the moment, everybody needs to keep that 1 second gap. 1 second gap. So Fila, PJ, Noxer, and TSM Elite are not keeping that 1 second. Hopefully they are listening now, and they keep that 1 second gap. Of course, there would be no overtaking allowed during the safety car, even if the game tells you to overtake. If the game tells you to overtake, unless the driver is completely off track or spun out, you cannot overtake the car during the safety car. Of course, when the safety car would be going in the lap, then you may close up accordingly. However, we have not received the notification of the safety car coming this lap. I would expect that the safety car will be in this lap, and the safety car will be in this lap. So the drivers may close up, bunch up without touching each other. It's so important not to touch the driver in front, because the driver at the back, if found at fault, he will gain 5 extra seconds of penalty from admins, stewards basically, and the other driver who gains that 5-second time penalty can request its removal, and it will be removed by the stewards. So we are seeing Sume setting up the pace, slowly setting up the pace, maintaining the speed until the safety car comes in. The safety car has just come in, so we're just waiting at any time for Sume going away, and he went off track. And Kila Fila keeping that friendly advice not to overtake him during the safety car. He could have. However, Kila Fila seems to be the friendly guy who has given Sume another chance. And Sume has just started the lap again in P1, luckily in P1, with Kila Fila following in P2 and PJ in P3. Dart Assassin follows in P4, TSM Elite in P5, and Noxer in P6. I'm noticing that Kieran Barr has DNF'd as well. I'm missing a lot of action, to be fair. So, out of 11 drivers, unfortunately only 6 drivers remain. But, oh, and Noxer is on those medium tires. Is the rain stopping? Ooh. He's not doing too bad. Hopefully I don't make a commentator's curse out of Noxer, because if it's the case, then it would be a big plus for Noxer. He is only 20 seconds away from P1, so that should be a doable overtake if it's the case. For the rest, I'm noticing Kila Fila getting that P1. Kila Fila getting that P1. So probably Sume might have some wing damage, maybe a minor wing damage, which I'm not noticing at the moment. Ooh, and Kila Fila going off the track and bumping a little bit the wall. I don't know if he has damage as well, but Sume takes that P1 back. And PJ diving into the pits. I am expecting him to go for a medium set of tires. Everybody else is pitting. Everybody else is pitting. So this should be a big plus for Noxer. This should be a very big plus for Noxer. In fact, a lot of drivers going for the soft and medium tires. So I'm expecting Noxer to get out of this into P1, and that undercut of new slick tires has worked just perfectly for Noxer. Well done to Noxer, and he has come out into P1 and at least 5 seconds away from Sume, who is in P2. So well done to Noxer for this undertake. A big well done to Noxer. I hope that I don't commentate curse him, because I'm feeling that I might do so. So let's go into Sume and those fresh soft tires. I would expect Sume to pit again, as well as Kila Fila and PJ, but I'm not expecting Dart Assassin to pit just yet. I think he will stay out until the very last lap, and TSM Elite still following on those intermediate tires. I believe that the rain is now clearly showing that it has stopped. So if TSM Elite you're listening, I would suggest you to go into the pits and go for medium tires, because you will lose so much time now. And we have another spinner, and it's Kila Fila. And we have a double yellow sector, back into green. Ooh, PJ getting that slide. That's so unfortunate. Dart Assassin has retired, and he has literally been into the wall. Ooh. And of course TSM Elite back into P3, going into the pits. That's the right way to enter the pits. And let's see what tires are gonna be implemented. The medium tires as expected. He's serving those 5-second time penalties, and now he's changing the tires. We are noticing that there's a safety car again for Dart Assassin DNF, Kila Fila and TSM Elite into P4 and P5 respectively. So Noxer on those medium tires, he's doing great. I believe that he is at the right set of tires. He should not pit. I would expect him not to pit. I would expect Suma to pit, but maybe he can keep up the tires until the end. Same for PJ. TSM Elite has literally fresh medium tires, so I would completely expect him to finish the race with those tires. Kila Fila, again, it depends. It really depends whether those soft tires really last another 14 laps, of which two of those laps will be under the safety car, so there would be no harm out of that. However, for the remainder of the 12 laps, it would be a little bit of a question mark. Maybe yes, maybe no. They do last 12 laps, but after 8-9 laps, the soft tires will really fall off the cliff. So we will need to wait and see. The medium tires will really catch up after only 6 laps with the soft tire runners. So let's see. It's a very interesting situation. Suma going in for those medium tires. I think it would be the best choice. The medium tires do catch up the temperature a little bit later, but they will really catch up with the soft tire runners fairly quickly, more than you expect. Because this is a track that gives you a 1-2 good laps and the tire really goes off the cliff fairly quickly. So tire wear is not that much, but when it comes to the car having to really keep up with the grip, that would be a big issue. Because with 10% tire wear, the car would be really lagging and sliding already. That kind of stuff. In certain tracks with 10% tire wear, it would be, you can feel the car losing any power, but not in this track. In this track, you will instantly feel it after 3, 4, 5 laps maximum. You will feel it. And we can see Noxer currently still getting back to the safety car, so I would expect that the safety car might go till lap 17 then, or 16, because it's taking a little bit long. So whoever is on the soft tires, this is a little bit of a crossover thing. It will be, at the end, it will be a little bit interesting to see. Okay, I'm noticing Sume also DNFing for one reason or another, so we're only remained with 4 drivers. It could be an early finish. Let's see. So it's gonna be a little bit interesting. 2 guys with medium tires, 2 guys with soft tires. At this point in time, it's going to be a crossover thing. Maybe the soft tires will gain for the first 6 laps, but for the remainder of the laps, the medium tire guys will be really matching and exceeding the soft tire guys. The important thing is for the medium tires guys to keep the temperatures as high as you can get, maybe 90 degrees if it's possible, and that would really match the soft tire runners in a couple of laps, literally. So 2 Ferrari drivers remaining, 1 McLaren driver and 1 Williams driver, with Noxer in P1, PJ in P2, TSM Elite in P3, and Kila Fila in P4. Noxer definitely has time penalties, probably 6 seconds. TSM Elite has some, I think 5 seconds, if not 8-second time penalties, and Kila Fila has 6 seconds, if not mistaken as well. So 3 seconds for Noxer, 3 seconds for TSM Elite, 6 seconds for Kila Fila. And now Noxer is starting the lap. PJ is marked with an X. I hope that he didn't leave the session. It seems to be the case because TSM Elite is reaching out PJ greatly. Kila Fila following TSM Elite. Kila Fila getting that switchback, trying to get the overtake at a very hard zone, and he has made the overtake by exceeding the track limit, which is illegal. So he's probably letting TSM Elite, which he didn't, and he just literally gave the place back and literally overtook him as soon as possible. I think there wasn't even half of a second, but anyway, this is practice race and this is where we learn. PJ is still marked with an X. I hope that he's still racing. Nope, this is definitely AI. The AI would definitely act like that. So PJ. So Noxer with that fastest lap. Ooh, yes, Emily's getting a little bit cutting the corners there on those sequence of left and right handers, chicanes or whatever you call them. Alright, so following File, following Noxer, making the overtake very easy for File. He was the fastest guy in the qualifying, so it's expected from him. But let's see whether Noxer responds to that in any way, shape or form. Noxer is still responding. No, PJ is responding. PJ is responding to TSM Elite with File getting that fastest lap with a 1:36.497. Nice by TSM Elite. But of course PJ has the DRS advantage, which makes the overtake again so easy to do. We can note that File is driving faster, but Noxer is more or less keeping up with File with only 2 seconds time gap. So maybe the medium tires are now starting to really be the tire of choice now. And we have TSM Elite who has just spun out and probably has wing damage. Of course, if he decides to quit the game or retire or anything whatsoever, of course, in a real race scenario, in this case, he wouldn't get any points despite being in P4. So that would be something that for the drivers to look forward to. The only way that for an actual race to have points counted to drivers, they need to either finish the race completely or at least finish 90% of the race. The game will show you whether you have either DNF'd or you have like +3, +4 laps. When it's plus something laps, that would mean that you have finished the race legitimately, 90% of the race legitimately, and therefore you are entitled for the points, for the full set of points. Otherwise, if you retire the race 2-3 laps remainder of the race, and hence exceed the 90% and you are within the top 10, you will get the points as well. So as long as you exceed the 90% of the race, it should be all good. But if you don't exceed the 90% of the race, of course the points will not be provided because you haven't exceeded the 90% of the race. So that's part of the rules as well. We're noticing TSM Elite now pitting. I would suggest him the softs. Maybe he could go for the fastest lap. You can... Alright. So, for TSM Elite, maybe he doesn't know, there should be a button for the pit limiter. If you press that button, the car will go at the maximum speed of the pit limit. It should be the same button of the pit exit limiter, which is the line that he is going to surpass right now. There should be a button which allows you to press it, and that should be the exact pit limiter as well. In the meantime, getting back to Noxer, we are noticing Noxer is now only 1 second away from Kila Fila, and I think he might have the DRS, not yet, but he's only 9/10 of a second, 1 second away from Kila Fila. So we are now really getting to know why the soft tires weren't the tire of choice at that particular point in time. The 9-lap old soft tires for Kila Fila is now really starting to feel the heat, and the temperatures are probably sky high, and probably the car is sliding all over the track trying to get some grip. However, it's also a weary tire now, so for Noxer it should be a very possible way now for his triumph to at least overtake Kila Fila on track. Let's see the penalties. Kila Fila still has 6 seconds and Noxer only has 3 seconds, so hopefully I don't commentate scares Noxer if he remains within the 3-second time gap within Kila Fila's time. His race time finish, he would end up in P1. PJ, he would remain in P3. Unfortunately, he is 22 seconds away from Noxer, and TSM Elite is a further 49 seconds away from the rest of the grid. I'm also noticing certain guys really using the ERS too much. We're still in lap 25, so probably it should be ideal for the guys to preserve some ERS for the last 2 laps. But this should be a nice battle between Noxer and Kila Fila. Noxer with only 1 second gap within Kila Fila. And now we're noticing the DRS effect on Kila Fila's car. Kila Fila praying Noxer doesn't overtake him. He's basically a sitting duck with those old soft tires. And Kila Fila is entering the pits. Has the tires given up? Has the tires given up? We're not so sure. I'm expecting that the tires has really gave up now. It has probably been around 65%, 70%. So probably the tires wouldn't hold off for much longer. And that would mean Noxer pulling off a masterclass of his own when it comes to the tire strategies, from wet tires to medium tires at the exact time when the rain was starting to stop. But we're still in lap 26. There are still another 2 laps of completion. Kila Fila still in P2, but he will need to gain at least another second to ensure his P2 position. PJ in P3, and TSM Elite completing the 90% of the tracks for sure now, because he has just started lap 26. So only 2 laps remaining, starting from now. Lap 27 with Noxer in P1. Kile File follows with 15-second time gap. It was once 19 seconds. So he is really pushing the car, Kile File. And PJ in P3. TSM Elite in P4, that McLaren with 12-second time penalties to serve, but it doesn't matter. As long as you finish the race, he will still remain in P4, which is a big achievement for the guy. So GG to you, TSM Elite. Whatever happens now, it should be a guaranteed P4 that you should be proud of. I know that the guy has been practicing a lot. He has participated in the Division 1 and Division 2 to ensure the maximum level of practice that he makes under the no TC conditions. I know that the guy has been trying so hard to learn this concept, the no TC concept. I know that it's not so easy for some guys, so GG to TSM Elite. For me, he should be the driver of the day, I believe. He has started in P7. He has done a good job when it comes to the race. He's not the fastest driver, but definitely one to watch when it comes to consistency. And this is what we want from the Delta Pace drivers: consistency, fair driving, and that should be the package. And Noxer has just started his final lap. I think the tires are really now losing the time for Noxer. In fact, he has lost a gazillion time now, because Kile File has just gained another 3 seconds. Of course, Noxer should be okay to arrive comfortably in P1, but Kile File is literally flying on those soft tires. In fact, he was once 8 seconds away from PJ, who has just pitted now at the last lap, which doesn't make sense for the fastest lap. For sure should have been the lap earlier. But anyway, he's in P3. He's doing a very nice job. Getting 2 Ferraris on the podium, which is something which hasn't been seen in real F1 for a very long time. However, for the latest races, at least with Carlos Sainz getting a few P3s during the process, maybe we have seen at least a little bit of a Ferrari in the podium. TSM Elite in P4. He's doing the last lap. Probably he's doing it as safe as he can. However, the driver that really pulled this off is Noxer in P1. Kile File has just finished in P2 and the fastest lap with a 1:35.570. PJ is currently finishing the last sector. He has just started it. So he is at the very last stages of the race. And TSM Elite in P4 following him with 23 seconds to spare. So well done to Noxer, well done to Kile File, well done to PJ for this stellar job, and for being the only driver that didn't get any time penalties, although I believe he was offline for a little bit. And TSM Elite is currently finishing the last turns of the track. Hopefully he doesn't bin it now, because it would be a shame now. And he's playing it very safe now, going into turn 20 and the last turn for the last car of the race, finishing the Grand Prix, the practice race of USA under the Delta Pace Racing Division 3. Well done to the guys. Unfortunate for the remainder of the drivers. Yes, I agree, TSM Elite, I agree. Ben Hesse, P4 shouldn't be too bad. It should be a very, very good place. And this is why it's so important to not to retire. Because if you don't retire, even if you're not that fast, you may enter into the points and have a very good race actually. TSM Elite not being quoted the fastest driver, but he got P4. And that should be the lesson for the remainder of the drivers, to not to be too optimistic with the throttle, not to be too optimistic with the overtakes, although in all fairness I don't believe I have seen anybody making late lunges, late overtakes, dirty driving, dirty hitting and those kind of things. So this was really expected. This was really expected from the no traction control and no braking assist and no steering assist. This should be the effect of it. Ultimately, because the restriction of such assist will make the drivers more cautious, and by making the drivers more cautious, it means that less incidents are in place. So there we have it. P1 with Noxer, P2 with Kile File, the Maltese guy, if not mistaken. GG to the Maltese guy as well. In P3 follows PJ, and P4 there's TSM Elite. Well done to you guys. I hope you have enjoyed the stream and the race as well. We will follow up with the very first race, the opening race of this Division 3, next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. UK time or 7:30 p.m. Central European time. With the first track being Austria, so it should not be the hardest track in the world, hopefully with no rain, because the rain really compromises the no traction control newbies in this regard. However, this should be it for today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and we will meet again next week. Ciao and take care, guys.